Legends in the Mist is ending very soon. This absolutely incredible setting and mechanic system is going to be my favorite thing to play once it comes out, and I think it's been one of my favorite projects to support. I love harping on how cool the mechanics and the backpack are, but the story has a really fun hook. You're from the Dales, a small isolated valley community, and everything beyond the valley is starting to feel wrong. Like slumbering evils are beginning to wake, calling you out of your safety and demanding your character to grow and transform from like a apple picker to a grand wizard. It kinda reminds me of Elethrion. Please support it if you can, just click the link in the description. I already did, but I was late, so I have to ask them for some acorns. Here's a video I worked on most of last month and then delayed until now. Love you guys. So, you got your big fat fabulous fantastical campaign ready. You've got a nice array of friends, Toby from work, your uncle and his third wife all set up with a time that they can make it.
Yeah, I've got time.
The table is set, the dice are cast, the night loses its youth and the candles fade out. There you sit at the table, room dark and empty, thinking to yourself, that was the worst session I've ever been a part of. Welcome to the world of pitfalls and landmines you didn't know hid under the table topped with role-playing. Thanks to Murphy making laws, we know the amount of things that can go wrong during a session are infinite enough to piss off a calculator. The first problem I want to approach, and the initial concept for this video, is Dungeon Master confidence. If you can't enjoy your own story, or you start shaking in your little cowboy boots because you planned wrong, or you feel judged for every move, or you just don't know the rules yet, it's easy to vomit after every session and then beat yourself up. So let's try to remedy the common outliers that make your game feel, well, that make you feel like shit. First problem, you don't know all the rules by heart. That's scary, but it's easily the most understandable issue. Take your time to look up core rules, slowing the game just a tad until you've got a good handle on it. If you have an encyclopedia player, only take pointers from them when you ask for them.
Now let me explain the rules. That's basically the basics.
If they're just spewing rules at you, it can make you feel like a dumb little baby who's rapidly losing control of their own game. That's no fun, so let them know at or off the table, thanks for the help, but you've got this shit covered. Even if you still don't know the rules, you can make them up. You're the world and its rules, and you got this. Second problem, you're really bad at coming up with stuff on the fly. This is kind of the inverse of over-preparing, but you can suffer from both at the same time. The game is half established, half improvised. Both skills get honed with time, but if you're completely in the dark, watch a mix of live-action D&D for world building and improv comedy for examples of yes and thinking.
Hey, maybe if you pulled up your breasts from your knees!
Middleditch and Schwartz, whose line is it anyway? All those guys would be great players and great DMs.
4 to 6 other grown adults can sit around a table and all try to imagine the same thing. And then whenever there's a contest of anything that you want to happen, roll them bones. Then you can play Dungeons & Dragons for 3 years.
From my experience, the less you prepare, the more you can create, but the more notes that you have to take during the session.
Remember, kids, the only difference between screwing around and science is writing it down.
Third problem. You don't want to do voices or sound effects, or overall you're not someone who's comfortable with performing. That's fine, and you might still be a good DM. When you read a book, the characters aren't doing voices and you can't hear monsters or lightning strikes, but you get a good idea. The show don't tell rule does not apply to your own comfort zone here. If a character sounds kinda British, you can just say that. No good player is gonna ask for more from you. I personally don't like doing sound effects. I can only describe them, because if I snarled at my players during a game,
"You got the quick one?"
I'd cringe into myself like I just ate a lemon of legend. Hopefully, now you're a bit cozier and more confident when it comes to running the table as a DM. And if you're not, then maybe your party just fucking sucks. Or you're just super afraid that they hate you and your game, so your brain after 11 PM after the game says, yup, my friends all want to throw me into a burning building full of my campaign notes. Let's explore what kind of stuff your players might be doing to make you feel that way. Maybe your players aren't curious enough. Say you built a puzzle box with 3 layers, each one acting as a metaphor for their backstories or past adventures, and they smash the whole thing in with a nat 20. Then kick down the engraved wooden door with the villain's origin on it, and Mario triple jump, no clip backslide through the entire castle and blow up your Bowser. Dispel magic, misty step, locate object, ignore story,
I reject your reality and I substitute my own.
and more spells that chew the dick out of detail-focused DMs while glucking down that speedrunner monkey brain juice, sometimes kinda sucks. But is it your fault for expecting them to enjoy detail? Is it their fault for not knowing, caring about, or respecting the tone that you're going for? No. And no. And yes. But the blame game is a lame game that maims games and fans flames. I proclaim. Turns out incompatibility is our enemy. And just like in physics or the Charter Communication Company, it works under a spectrum. For example, I just read this book called Gnomes. I rated a 10 out of 10. I also read the Iliad. I give it like a 5 because some characters won't shut the fuck up for 4 pages. Does that make Homer a bad author? Does it make Gnomes the epitome of what a book should be? Should Homer be cross with me as a bad reader because he didn't hold my attention? Possibly. But resenting a reader for not being on the same page as the author kinda makes them a bad author. If you feel shamed or not appreciated, the worst thing you could ever do is shame a player for not appreciating you or your hard work that you more than likely did for your own enjoyment. Curiosity is what you want. Engagement is what the party wants. Either try to find a middle ground where everyone is happy, but maybe not exactly how you want, or throw your players in the dumpster and try to find a like-minded group.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Or become more open-minded and just pander to those fuckers.
Against all odds, you successfully polymorph Evilus Maximus.
Your situation could also be the inverse. The party keeps complaining about your game, how it doesn't fit their playstyle, but you have no fucking clue what they want, because they won't tell you because they don't know, but they have more experience in other games than you, and you try a few different things and then they just fucking ghost you. Believe it or not, that's not your fault. You're a sweet little DM who deserves better, and your style is just fine. And you can respect their choice to leave, or see how they try to DM and either take notes or sit back smugly and think to yourself, oh yeah, we're both terrible dungeon masters. And then just take it all less seriously. It's a similar situation with player infighting. If 2 players or 2-player characters can't move away from a disagreement, or can't find the difference between those 2 types of disagreements, that's not on you. And sometimes it's just a dead end. It's a bummer, but it's a true one. Here's my biggest problem as a DM, with a campaign that I feel somewhat confident with, and players that don't really suck. During big boy adult games, players can get a little bit zooted on snacks, and lose focus on the game during combat or lulls. Then suddenly you have 2 conversations at once, one about a skeleton ruthlessly killing the party's only guide through the area, and one about this biker dude who showed up at Walmart and his dog had sunglasses and it was awesome. I want to be a part of both conversations, even as the DM sometimes. Like, shut up about your stealth check for a second. Did you just say that the dog did a backflip? This problem's solution is breaks. Take breaks. Take your time with D&D, take your time with your friends, chat, snack, and naturally flow through whatever happens in the game. The best sessions aren't ones that you plan on being awesome. It's always ones you remember being awesome. I ate too many Cool Ranch Doritos and my stomach fucking hurts. I don't think I like Cool Ranch Doritos.